But, the things we mentioned the offense, how bad it was. On the other side of the ball, though, the pitching, again, was excellent. Second in Major League Baseball in ERA at 3.20. Second in the big leagues in strikeouts. First in batting average against. So they held the opponents to a very low batting average. Third in innings pitched, second in fewest runs, and third in whip, in walks and hits per innings pitched. Statistically speaking, you guys, the 2011 team was pitching staff statistically was better than the 2010 team. So the pitching is still the bright spot of this organization, and definitely stepped up big last year to keep the team in a lot of games they would not have been in otherwise, and keep the team in the race to the final weekend.
Well, yeah, it was the emergence of Ryan Vogel was I think probably the highlight of the pitching staff. Coming seemingly out of nowhere, he came on and gave an incredible season the whole way through. I think we were all unsure if he'd be able to keep it up the entire season long, but he did. And, the rest of the pitching staff was just stellar as well. Once it comes ZITO, sorry, not ZITO.
Not ZITO!
But Kane and Bumgarner, all put in really good contributions and made them one of the best pitching staffs in the big leagues.
And the bullpen came through as well. Romo had a fantastic year last year. Lopez very productive. Even MOTA, the long relief guy, and the Giants are enough to sign him back. He did his supposed job, and it's his role, on the team. I think Giants pitching wise, that's a good thing that everyone's pretty much intact, other than losing Ramirez. But the pitching wasn't the reason why the Giants didn't play.
Right, you mentioned MOTA. To me, he may have been the MVP of at least the bullpen, because this guy stepped in. He did everything. Long relief, setup, short mop-up duty. This guy could come in. He may have closed a couple of games. He could have closed a couple of games if Bochy needed him to. And that whole bullpen with the step-up touch. Brian Wilson was not healthy for the entire season, so it was very important that they have a versatile guy in that bullpen. And Guillermo MOTA really stepped up, and I think it was a huge key to bring it back for 2012.
Yeah, like I said, Giants it's amazing if you look at the stats, they were in the top 3, in Major League Baseball. And for them not to make the playoffs, that's very rare, because they talk about good pitching will take you far as far as making the postseason is concerned. And in 2010, that's what happened to the Giants. But as we were talking a bit earlier, the offense was so anemic that it affected eventually even the Giants pitchers, because Tim Lincecum went 12 and 13,
right.
And any other team he would have at least won more than 15 games. So
what about Bumgarner? That Bumgarner easily could have won 20 games. I always said the first, what did he start? 0 and 6, and the first 4 games of the season he probably should have lost because he'd pitch okay and then give up a huge inning and then struggle. But then later on, he was still losing, but he had the least run support of any pitcher on this team. So he was still losing games, but he was pitching very, very well. On a better offensive team, Bumgarner probably wins 20 games last year, or at least 16.
Hey, that's what we're hoping for this year, though.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, okay, 2011 is over. It's gone. We're at FanFest 2012, so we are looking ahead to 2012. So let's do that. Let's focus on the Giants in 2012. And since we're on pitching, let's look at the pause. Let's look at the strength of this team, and that is once again going to be the pitching staff. You mentioned Dave bringing everybody back basically, except for losing Ramon Ramirez. Big keys this offseason, Ben. They were able to re-sign both Affeldt and Javier Lopez. A lot of people thought they'd only be able to keep one.
Yeah, that's right. One thing the Giants have on just about every major league team is 2 really, really good left-handed relievers, which comes in, very importantly in those late innings when you face hitters like Ryan Howard and other left-handed sluggers. I think it's one of those moves that might seem like a smaller deal than it ends up being.
Absolutely, and bringing back, like Dave, bringing back GMF Javi Lopez was a huge key. Let me ask you, going into the offseason, when everyone thought, including us, that the Giants would only be able to keep one of those lefties, who did you want to keep? Out of the two of them, obviously we wanted to keep both, but if one of them was going to stay, who did you want it to be that stayed?
Lopez is really the lights-out reliever of the two. Affeldt, has certainly had his moments and has kept it up over complete seasons, including last one. But Lopez to me is really the elite left-handed reliever.
Dave?
I would go with Lopez as well. But the Giants got both, so hey, it's
So it's a moot
bonus.
point.
Yeah,
It's a
right.
moot point.
Yeah.
You can go Affeldt in the 7th and Lopez in the 8th, and you still got Romo and Wilson. It's one of the best bullpens in baseball.
The bullpen has depth.